Alright, so for today's Tackle Tuesday, we're going to be talking about beaver style baits. These are definitely one of my favorite baits, just because they're, they got the straight tails, they're real natural, mostly stick with natural colors. There's a million different styles that you can fish a beaver bait, but today we're going to talk about what I like to flip and what I like to throw around cover. Alright, so there's two different ways that I like to fish around cover with this bait. In the pre-spawn around here, we're fishing in the 40s and the low 50s, and fish aren't going to be up on the bank on cover as much as they're going to be out on some cover or structure or brush piles or something. So moving on through early to late in the year, the first thing that I'm going to start using is a wobble head. It's a Gene LaRue Tommy Biffle hardhead, and it's just really great. Got a really stout hook on it. That's what it's like. This one right here is a 3/8 ounce, I think. This is just really good for casting to brush piles. Maybe you're fishing secondary points, dragging it on the bottom. They're just great ways to keep your bait kind of compact down there without your Texas rig weight sliding around, but it also gives you the versatility of having that weight kind of free hanging so that the fish can't use that as leverage to throw the bait most of the time. That right there with the wobblehead is how I fish it mostly in the pre-spawn season, but once you get to the spawn, post-spawn, and the summer months, I'm going to fish on a Texas rig. Alright, so now that we get into spawn, maybe you're fishing beds, post-spawn, you could be flipping bushes or any kind of cover in the summertime. The same flipping, could be flipping grass or laydowns or wood, stumps, timber, whatever. So the whole time that I'm flipping, I'm going to be using a 4/0 Trocar flipping hook. Use a bobber stop. If you're in clear water or if you're in kind of shallower water sometimes, this is a 3/8 ounce tungsten weight. Sometimes when it's dirtier water and you want them to eat it quick, as it first gets in there, it falls in front of them real quick. Or if you're fishing a little bit deeper, want to get the bait down there, use a little bit bigger size. This is a lead weight. Don't even know what size it is. It's just a pretty big weight. So I'm going to go ahead and rig one of these up. This right here is 20-pound fluorocarbon. You could use 20-pound fluorocarbon or 50, 65-pound braid, or you could use a leader on your braid. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to get one of these bobber stoppers, put on the line. Oh, it's a little bit harder once you get to 20. Alright, so we're just going to slide that up a ways. Say we're fishing, 4 or 5 foot, a little bit deeper, so we want to use a little bit bigger weight. This is not a punching weight, this is just more of a Texas rig weight. So, here you go, put your weight on there. You can use whatever knot you want. Sometimes I use a polymer knot. I'd advise if you use a polymer knot to make sure you retie enough. The one that I really like, I showed this in previous videos, it's the double Shindo. If you want to check out how to tie this knot, there's going to be a video on my page of how to tie it. It's really great for really high impact, like flipping, close range, setting the hook hard. It's a really great knot to tie. So we tied that knot. Try to get some extra line out of here. You're going to put that bobber stop down, but you want to leave it maybe a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch up there so it has a little bit of room to move around. You don't want it pinned up against there, just because you're pinning your weight to your knot and you're kind of smashing it in there. And also it gives the bait a little extra room to kind of float around. It looks a little bit more natural. So, say we want to pick this a little bit greenish brown. We're just going to Texas rig this up, pull it over that, stick that flipping hook in there, and boom, you're ready to go flipping. You can, like I said, this can be on fluorocarbon or braid. Just make sure you have heavy enough line to get them out of the brush, because you're going to be regretting it a little bit if you don't. Either of these rigs, where you're fishing the wobblehead or you're fishing a Texas rig, you can really fish these around any type of cover you want. If you're fishing, around wood, so if you're flipping bushes, or say you got willow trees or timber or stumps, you're probably going to want to stick to the 20-pound fluorocarbon, just because fish, might be able to see it. Now if you're fishing around, really dirty water or thick bushes or any kind of vegetation, then braid is the way to go. There was one tournament 2 years ago that I was fishing that we were fishing in the river, and the fish were spawning in all these pockets were just full of trash, so there was just logs and sticks everywhere, so you literally had to flip over logs and sticks to get to where you wanted to flip to. So whenever you set the hook and had a fish, you had to bring over logs and stuff. So instances like that, you definitely want braid, because that's gonna help you force the fish out of there. You can pull as much as you want with braid. You could cut that up on the log and break off with fluorocarbon, so you want to be careful in some cases. Now when it comes to my rods, I really like my 7.3 medium heavy to throw the wobble head on. I'll either throw it around 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon. That's when I'm fishing in the pre-spawn, fishing around, usually the water is a little bit cleaner when you're fishing the pre-spawn, so I like to keep it 15, 17, 20 pound line. Always fishing fluorocarbon, whether you're dragging it, flipping it around docks, or fishing it through brush piles. Then as we move on in the year, get to the Texas rig, I'll still fish the same rod if I'm not fishing the heavy weight. But if I'm, you get to flipping bigger weight, your close range, I have a 7.6 heavy that I like to use, and just can really force the fish out of there. That is if you're using fluorocarbon. Now if I'm using braid, I like to use a medium heavy, and it could be a 7-foot to an 8-foot rod, but whenever you have braid, there's no give whatsoever, so you want something to have some give in there. If you're fishing a heavy rod with braid, you're just completely ripping it out of there, and you could just pull it out of their mouth every time. So if you use a medium heavy rod when you're fishing braid, it just kind of allows them to get the hook a little bit better. It's not going to lack any power really. You're still going to be able to pull them right out of there because you have braid, but it just helps out when you're setting the hook. Now we're going to talk about why I like to flip a beaver style bait over just about anything else. Whether you're flipping grass or if you're flipping in bushes or whatever, you have this weight bringing the bait down, and it could get hung on a lot of stuff. It could get hung on pieces of grass, or if you're in a bush, you could get caught on a limb or something. So that has to do with the size of weight you have. But also, there's nothing to really catch this bait. These little appendages right here kind of facing down, they're small, they're not going to catch anything. There's not a whole lot of action to this bait besides it, maybe moving through the water like this. But, just looking at that body, it's just real slender. It's really able to get through cover and everything. I think it's just a really efficient bait to fish whenever you're flipping, because you're not getting caught as much. It goes in and out of cover easier. And I feel like that not having all the extra stuff or not the big flappy tails might sometimes get you some extra bites because it looks more natural. So guys, there's the two different ways that I like to fish the beaver style bait around cover. That being the wobble head on the Texas rig with a flipping hook. Promise there'll be more Tackle Tuesdays, maybe some how-to videos with the beaver bait. With jigs, Carolina rigs, river fishing. I still have a lot to cover with this bait, but I just wanted to keep it to structure fishing and flipping today. Something I'm really excited about today, I got my first mystery tackle box in the mail. So that means future MTB slams, maybe not in February because I had a popper in my box and I don't know how well that would work, but there will be MTB slams coming soon, so stay tuned. Keep an eye out for future Tackle Tuesdays and more videos about beaver baits. Thanks for watching, and I really hope that I see you next time.